Diana Winters was an ordinary woman with an ordinary life. She worked in a small accounting firm, lived in a modest apartment, and spent her weekends binge-watching crime dramas. Her cat, Mr. Fluff, was her closest companion, and her biggest worry was running out of snacks during a Netflix marathon. One evening, while watching TV, the lights flickered and a chill filled the room. Diana felt a sudden, oppressive presence. A tall, skeletal figure with black robes appeared in her living room. His eyes glowed with a fiery red, and his voice was like gravel on rusted metal. "Miss Winters," he intoned, "I am Azazel, messenger of hell. You are the rightful heir to the throne of the underworld. Your father, Lucifer, has chosen you to rule." Diana dropped her bowl of popcorn. "My father? Lucifer?" The devil Azazel nodded gravely. "Indeed, and you must come with me." "There is no time to waste." Azazel whisked Diana away through a swirling vortex, straight into the depths of hell. It was a nightmarish landscape of jagged cliffs, rivers of molten lava, and skies filled with swirling smoke. The air was thick with the scent of sulfur and despair. Demons of all shapes and sizes roamed the landscape, some with wings, others with horns, and all with malicious grins. Diana felt a surge of panic but remembered the words of her grandmother, who always said she had the fire of the devil in her. It turned out that wasn't just a figure of speech. Azazel guided her through the infernal landscape, explaining the various regions of hell. There was the pit of torment, where souls suffered unspeakable agony, the Tower of Whales, where the damned screamed in eternal misery, and the fields of desolation, a barren wasteland of endless despair. "Your father left a power vacuum," Azazel explained. "Demons are vying for control, and only you can restore order. But be warned, many will challenge you, and the trials ahead are treacherous." Diana entered the grand hall, where the throne of hell stood, a massive blackened structure adorned with twisted skulls and burning torches. The floor was strewn with ash, and the air buzzed with dark energy. A group of demon lords awaited her, each with their own nefarious agenda. The first, Belial, was a smooth-talking demon with a penchant for deceit. He offered Diana riches and power if she would let him rule in her stead. The second, Moloch, was a hulking beast with an insatiable thirst for blood. He threatened to tear her apart if she didn't submit to his will. The third, Lilith, was a seductress who whispered promises of eternal pleasure if Diana joined her faction. But Diana knew that to secure her position, she had to show strength. She stepped onto the dais, her eyes glowing with a newfound fire, and declared, "I am the devil's daughter, and I will take what is mine to prove her worth." Diana had to face the trials of hell. The first trial was the trial of fear. She was taken to the pit of nightmares, where her deepest fears were brought to life. Shadows clawed at her, and voices whispered her darkest insecurities. But Diana stood firm, knowing that fear was only as real as she allowed it to be. The second trial was the trial of pain. She was bound to a fiery wheel and spun through flames, her flesh burning and healing in an endless cycle. It was excruciating, but Diana endured, remembering her grandmother's stories of resilience and fortitude. The third trial was the trial of temptation. She was offered everything she could ever want: wealth, power, eternal youth, but she knew that accepting would mean abandoning her newfound role. She refused, knowing that her true power lay in her ability to withstand temptation. With the trials behind her, Diana returned to the grand hall to claim her throne. The demon lords bowed before her, acknowledging her strength and resilience. But there were those who still plotted against her, waiting for the moment to strike. Diana sat on the throne of hell, her eyes glowing with a fierce intensity. She knew her rule would not be easy. The forces of darkness were always watching, always plotting. But she was ready. She was the devil's daughter, and she would bring a new order to the underworld. Her reign would be filled with darkness and blood, but also with moments of strange humor and unexpected alliances. Hell was her new home, and she intended to make it her own.